Before start, press the bell icon so you never miss any videos. Welcome to existence, little quill ball. So you've just made your grand entrance into the world. All 1 pound of you, looking like a tiny punk rocker with your mohawk of soft quills. First off, congratulations on successfully navigating your way out of the womb without turning your mom into a pincushion. That's already your first major achievement. I'm your unofficial guide to all things porcupine, here to help you navigate this weird and wonderful world of being North America's largest rodent. Yes, you heard that right. You're basically a supersized mouse with built-in security features. Let's start with your most obvious feature, those magnificent quills. Right now, they're soft and bendable, like overcooked spaghetti, but don't get too comfortable with that. In about an hour, they'll harden into your very own collection of roughly 30,000 organic toothpicks. Think of them as your personal security system, except instead of having to remember a complicated password, you just have to master the art of turning your back on your problems. Literally. Now I know what you're thinking. If your tiny newborn brain is thinking anything beyond eat and sleep. Can I really shoot these quills at predators like in the cartoons? Sorry to burst your bubble, but that's fake news. However, what you can do is back up into trouble with remarkable precision. Think of yourself as a reverse parking expert, except instead of getting a spot at the mall, you're delivering pointy surprises to uninvited guests. Speaking of those quills, here's a pro tip. They're not just for defense. They're also excellent conversation starters. When other forest creatures ask, "Hey, why are you so prickly?" you can respond with, "I'm not prickly, I'm just well-pointed in my arguments." Dad jokes come naturally to porcupines. It's in our DNA. Let's talk about your diet. You're what nutritionists would call a bark enthusiast. While other animals are out there chasing prey or gathering nuts, you'll be living your best life as a tree-eating connoisseur. Think of yourself as a food critic specializing in bark, twigs, and leaves. Your review might read, "The hemlock bark had a subtle woody flavor with hints of forest floor. 810 would chew again." During winter, you'll develop a particular fondness for pine bark, making you the only creature that actually enjoys eating Christmas trees after the holidays. Now, about climbing trees. You're surprisingly good at it. Despite looking like a sentient pincushion, you can scramble up trees like a pro. Your tail acts as a built-in bungee cord, sort of, helping you balance and brake. Just remember, what goes up must come down, preferably without looking like you're auditioning for America's Funniest Home Videos, Forest Edition. One thing you should know about your social life: porcupines are generally solitary creatures, except during mating season. Think of yourself as that introvert who enjoys Netflix and chilling, literally, because you'll be doing a lot of hanging out in trees. Your idea of a wild night out is finding a particularly tasty piece of bark, and maybe, if you're feeling really adventurous, trying a different tree species. Here's something cool about your species. You're basically nocturnal. This means you'll be most active when all the normal animals are sleeping. It's like being a teenager, except your parents can't tell you to stop staying up late because it's literally your nature. Plus, your night vision is pretty decent, which means you can navigate the forest like you have built-in night vision goggles. A word about your voice. You have quite the vocal range. You can make various sounds from whining to screaming to grunting. It's like being a one-porcupine band. Use these powers wisely, preferably not at 3 a.m. when other forest creatures are trying to sleep. Although, let's be honest, if they wanted peace and quiet, they shouldn't have moved next to a nocturnal porcupine. Now let's address the whole salt-craving thing. You're going to be weirdly attracted to anything salty, including human tools and objects. This might lead you to chew on canoe paddles, tool handles, or even car tires. Think of it as your version of late-night snack cravings, except instead of raiding the fridge, you're raiding the nearest campsite. Just try to keep this habit in check. Humans tend to get a bit touchy about their belongings being used as salt licks. One more thing about your defensive capabilities. When threatened, you'll click your teeth, stamp your feet, and raise your quills while making your tail swagger around like a weapon. It's basically the porcupine version of a martial arts display, except instead of "hiya," it's more like "back offer." Yes, that was a Canadian porcupine joke. We're quite common up there. Remember, you're not just any rodent. You're a porcupine. You're basically the tank of the forest world. While other animals rely on speed or camouflage, you've got your own built-in defense system that makes even bears think twice. Sure, you might not win any beauty contests, unless there's a most likely to be mistaken for a walking pincushion category, but you've got character, charm, and enough quills to supply a small acupuncture clinic. Speaking of your amazing ancestry, let's talk about your extended family tree. You belong to the Erethizontidae family, which is just a fancy way of saying New World porcupines. Unlike your cousins in Africa and Asia, who spend most of their time on the ground, amateurs, you're part of the elite tree-climbing squadron. It's like having a permanent VIP pass to the forest's upper levels. Let's discuss something that might come in handy during your teenage years. Swimming. Yes, you heard that right. Despite looking like you're wearing a spiky life jacket, you're actually a pretty decent swimmer. Your hollow quills provide natural buoyancy, making you the forest's most unexpected lifeguard. Just don't expect to be cast in the next Baywatch reboot. Here's a fun fact about your brilliant biology. Your quills have microscopic barbs that make them harder to remove once they're stuck in something. It's like nature's version of a clingy ex. They just don't want to let go. But unlike that ex, these barbs serve a crucial purpose, teaching predators the valuable life lesson that some relationships are just too painful to pursue. One more thing about your eating habits we should discuss. You have an incredible metabolism that allows you to digest wood. You're basically a walking, talking, grunting, composting machine. While other animals are struggling with their fancy diets, you're out there turning trees into energy like some kind of furry solar panel. Your intestines are so efficient at processing cellulose that scientists are actually studying them to improve biofuel production. That's right, you're not just a porcupine, you're a potential solution to the energy crisis. And let's talk about your superpower of thermoregulation. Those quills aren't just for protection, they're also excellent insulators. Think of them as your personal climate control system. In winter, you can fluff them up for extra warmth, like wearing 1,000 tiny down jackets. In summer, you can flatten them to cool off. It's like having a built-in thermostat, except this one comes with pointy bits. P.S. If anyone ever calls you a primitive rodent, remind them that your ancestors have been rocking the quill look since the Oligocene epoch. That's roughly 30 million years of being too cool to care about fitting in. Besides, who else can say they're literally covered in natural hair gel? And remember, if life ever gets too prickly, just turn your back on it. It's kind of your thing. Oh, and one last piece of advice. If you ever find yourself at a forest party and someone suggests a group hug, maybe sit that one out. Trust me on this one. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and share this video, and subscribe this channel for more amazing videos. Thank you.